crazy because we, as humans, like, I was just thinking about this. Like, we are the product of millions and millions and millions of years, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, I mean, at least to my understanding, we come from, at least evolution-wise, we come from relatives way farther back, you know, like, it's crazy. I'm pretty sure we come from plants, like, you know what I mean? Like, as the evolution system has gone on, I'm talking, like, billions and billions and billions of years, but...
Like a fish concept?
It's something like that, right? But... Yeah, maybe not plants. but like, I was just thinking.
I'm still sus about the whole fish walking on land thing. I'm like,
yeah. Oh, is that it?
Hey, that's a theory.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're no evolutionary biologists, people.
But it does make sense, right? Like, we make these changes slowly over time, you know, in billions and billions and billions of years. You know, it makes sense. Like, you know, just at least to me, I think it does.
Oh yeah, me too.
But it's. The evolution of human consciousness has gotten to a point where we are addicted to thought, right? And we think through thought, and rather than seeing reality for how it is...
We are wired in thought.
Yeah, we are wired in thought. So, like, rather than, like, if I'm looking at you right now, right, and rather than seeing you completely without thought, like, my consciousness, like, there's no thoughts flying in, right? I'm seeing a thought that comes into my attention field. And that's my filter of my eyes. That's how I'm seeing you through this thought, and then I start to judge, I start to compare, right? I start to feel less than, more than, and like this can really throw off your determination. This can really throw off other things because you're not seeing things for how they are, right? Mm-hmm. And you're kind of getting stuck in an illusion because you can call it the Matrix, you can call it whatever the hell you want, you can call it this conceptual reality, right? This belief system. It's you're stuck. You don't recognize what's real. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with concepts, right? It's something we created, and it's something that is extremely effective, obviously, clearly, like, well, look where we are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but when we can't recognize and be aware of the true reality beyond concepts, like I was saying, it's different than just talking about it like we're doing right now. What is beyond what we're talking about? Well, it's actually doing it, right? It's that actual stuff that matters, right? Beyond thought, beyond concepts, right? There's nothing wrong with thought, there's nothing wrong with concepts, but use it as a tool, as a means to help
tangibility.
you. Yeah.
And that's like, it's like going back to the whole, like, the ideas of the fucked up filter that you perceive the world through. It's like, it is, going back to the Matrix joke, it is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
It's a veil.
Yeah. And it's like, it's back to the fog thing, because it's like, it's layers.
Yeah.
Because there's your own, the filter is fucking multi-layered, because it's like the first layer is your perception. And to a degree you're reflecting your insecurities on people. And you're projecting, and sometimes you can take in, like, you can overthink someone else's thoughts when they're not even considering you. And then you have expectation from others, and then there's perception and judgment of others. There's social status. There's monetary value. There's physical gain and loss. And all of these are they're like cataracts. The longer you go, there's more shit coming over your eyes.
Or you believe in it, too.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, it's the whole, like, I think it was like a lying thing. It's like if you get, like, some people get so good at lying, they start believing their own bullshit.
Oh, yes. Fuck, I forget the fucking term for that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know exactly.
But it's like, that's that same thing. It's like if you can't find your way through...
Pathological liar.
Yeah, if you can't find your way through the fog, it's all you'll ever see.
Yeah, it's
and you can't be authentic. And, like, that's another distraction from determination, is people.
Yeah.
And it's another thing where it's like people that you surround yourself with, people that you don't surround yourself with, people that you like and dislike.
Yeah.
All of these concepts affect your determination.
Yeah.
Because, like, YouTube is a perfect example, or, like, any, like, public platform that you're putting yourself out on.
Yeah.
You are subject to comments. Yeah. And it is whether or not you personally let those let those comments of other faceless people determine the outcome of your direction.
Yeah, 100%.
And
you what?
like, you can't allow that.
Yeah,
because it's like that. it's tainting your authenticity,
Yeah.
tainting your purpose, and tainting the determination to achieve both of those
Yeah,
things.
and no, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with comments, right? If it's like constructive criticism, like
Yeah.
what you could do better, like absolutely listen
Yeah.
to it, you know. But like if it's just like mindless haters being like, dude, your fucking content sucks, you know, obviously hating on you,
Yeah.
and it's like an ad hominem attack. They're attacking you rather than like what you're producing, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not,
Yeah.
they're miscriticizing you.
Yeah, even then, like
Yeah.
on the flip side of that,
Yeah.
positive or positive comments can falsely inflate the ego.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So
If
it's
you're a
like-
god or something, yeah.
Yeah, you just have to
In a
like
human sense, yeah.
yeah, and you just have to ignore that.
Uh-huh.
Like it's not,
Mhm.
it's fictitious.
100%.
You are getting like validate. Like don't get me wrong. Like the whole thing, Noel, I think Dizelle, he's a bodybuilder, probably one of my favorite fucking followers on Instagram.
Olympian?
No,
Oh,
he's
okay.
he's fucking
Okay.
show, but
Okay.
he's putting forward fitness information.
Yeah.
But it's like, he says like, if you had like people are shitting on people for like showing off their bodies, and I'm like, fuck you, that you
Yeah.
put the work in. You
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
able to show off. Like
Yeah.
you put the work in. You
Yeah.
edited these videos. You recorded them. You're
Yeah.
publishing them so people can see them.
Yeah,
Like you should be praised for
Yeah.
this. Even
Uh-huh.
if like people recognize it and resonate with it,
Yeah.
then they should.
It's up to them, yeah.
Yeah, they should be entitled to tell it. But don't let the numbers and the the
Yeah.
praise get to your head.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that like don't let people will put people like fans will by nature put you on a pedestal, and you should as like
Yeah,
a
you
human you should not be better than
Yeah,
them.
you gotta ground yourself, humble
Yeah,
yourself,
exactly.
like keep it real with yourself, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, what you just described is great, you know, and I think a lot of times, kind of relating this to knowledge, right? People who think they're like the wisest people on the planet, they think they have all the knowledge in the world, right? And there's nothing wrong with knowledge, right? And there's like this famous quote, knowledge is power, right? And to be fair, right, the more information you have, the more awareness you have, the better conclusion you can come to, which makes sense, right? Because, when it comes to medical decisions, when it comes just different decisions within a field, right? You look to the experts, right? Because
Yeah.
they're the most aware, they know the most, and they're going to have the best judgments. I
Yeah.
totally understand that. I totally understand that perspective. But when you kind of let that inflate yourself, when you kind of let that be a distraction, right? Where does knowledge reside? In thoughts,
Yeah.
right? And those thoughts distract you. And if you're constantly thinking and you're constantly in an analysis state, like we were saying before, it's taking you out of that being state, right? That requires no knowledge,
Yeah.
right? Knowledge. You don't need any knowledge to be yourself, right? To be the isness of this moment, because you already are that, right? And like some people may look and be like, dude, I'm not smart, I'm not intelligent, right? Standards created by human beings, right?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I'm less than, I don't know shit.
Yeah.
And then once they become smart, they're like, dude, I know everything,
Yeah.
right? Even though they probably don't know the most in that field.
Mhm.
But you have to recognize and realize that you effortlessly and without knowledge can be who you are, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because people who have the most knowledge, it seems it's harder for them to enter a state of being because they're so in that state of sense of self. They're like,
Yeah.
dude, I can't do this. Why am
Or
I doing
sense
this?
of
I'm not
thought.
supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be doing that. Like I'm supposed to be. I'm smart. I'm so smart, dude. This
Yeah.
should not be hard,
Yeah. I have a lot to unpack from
Yeah.
just what you said.
Yeah.
Number one, going back to the whole knowledge thing, there's a quote that I love, and I go back to it all the time. It's like, it is the wise man that claims he's a fool, because the smartest people know how much they have, they know how much they have left to learn.
Yeah.
And going back to the knowledge aspect, where you said knowledge is power, it's also a curse. The Thanos quote, it's like, he knows Tony Stark because it's just like, you're not the only one cursed with knowledge. Because it's like, if you know so much, you see the flaw in it ruins the moment.
Yeah,
That's
for
why it's so
sure.
hard for them to enter a flow
Yeah,
state.
okay.
And also,
Very true. You can see things that the people don't.
yeah, and that knowledge can put you up on a pedestal. And like going back to the example you said, like if some guy, feels dumb, it's just like he keeps telling himself this, and then his thoughts shape his reality. And that's another thing, like that is the biggest harm to determination. If you defeating yourself before you even start, Like, he'll talk to people. A lot of people don't get that. Like, I think I was telling Jordan about it, and like a while ago, and he was like kind of being too much of a realist when I was saying, I'm like, if you defeat yourself, you don't know your true potential.
You limit yourself.
Yeah, like this is like your mind is inhibiting your progress because if you keep saying something negative about yourself, you're just going to be surrounded by that negativity. You can't break out of the cage.
Yeah. Because what is the world going to reflect back to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Nature fucking negative.
And it's like, that's the biggest thing. It's like, now don't get me wrong. You can't be fucking braggadocious and fucking full of yourself, because that's also like, that's giving you false confidence.
Yeah.
Authentic confidence is bred by determination. You're just like, I know what I am, I know what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I'm bad at this, but I'm not going to let it stop me from getting good.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the deal. Like, that's determination. Like, that's that strength of character.
Definitely.
And, like, clarity of the mind. Because it's, you're not lost in, you know, self-criticism. And you are free to pursue what you want. Like, I'm shit at this. I know I'm shit at this. But that's not going to stop me from getting better.
100%, bro.
Yeah, and that's like, you go back to the whole David Goggins thing. Yeah. Embrace the fucking suck.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
you
definitely.
Know? And you can never get yourself lost in that. Like, you can't let your mind cloud you from what, like, the world. You can't let your mind pull the wool over the eyes meant to see the true world.
Yeah, I mean, you literally said it perfect. Like, people believe that they are their mind, you know, and like they believe I'm Cal. Like, I believe I'm Cal. You believe that you're Cole, right? These stories that we've told ourselves that inherently, and a lot of people don't want to hear, is just a thought. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Within this moment here in time. Like, I hate to say it, I hate to be blunt, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? And
but if you acknowledge that, it opens your mind so much more.
Dude. And there's nothing wrong with the story we've created, right? The story never ends, because this is what we're doing right now. This is the world of becoming. That's the Matrix, right? And the Matrix is here to teach us, right? And when I mean Matrix, like, I don't mean some fucking voodoo, you know, like, I don't mean like...
You don't mean robots harvesting us for electricity.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and there is a lot... This guy named Ralph Smart, he said, The Matrix wasn't a movie, it was a documentary, right?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this guy pretty much bases his whole entire logic off the movie, right? And so much of it has come true today. We'll save that for another video, but anyways, like people that believe that they're their mind, right? And even me, I'm guilty of this, right? Where you place your attention on your thoughts, right? You identify with those thought forms so heavily, and that's where you derive your sense of self from, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with being like, I'm a bodybuilder, right? There's nothing wrong with, like, I'm a boxer, or like something like that, right? Yeah. But you gotta recognize and realize that's not who you truly are, right? Underneath all those labels, underneath all those temporary things that don't exist independently from the mind, right? Who are you beyond that, right? And with that recognition brings internal peace, right? Because you can, no matter what happens out there, you're not attached too much to income. You're not taking life too seriously, like we discussed in like the second episode, I think, right?
You're not taking yourself too seriously.
You're not taking yourself too seriously. And you realize that you're already complete here and now. And that is how, even if you fail time and time again, that determination will always be there because you have that internal anchor there. You know what I mean?